Hello everybody, what's going on? My name is Peppers11, and I've been wanting to do this for quite some time. I haven't really gotten a chance to it, but I just thought I'd do it now. I am going to be doing a tier list of all of the CSGO knives. Now, of course, this is just my opinion, and my opinion is usually pretty shit. So take this with a grain of salt. Also, I'm not a rich YouTuber, so I based my selection off of like three things: price being a big factor, looks, and then kind of like practicality. I don't really exactly know how to explain that. I don't really have a script for this either. I'm kind of just jumping right into it. So we'll just go straight down the line. I am a little bit based biased with the bayonet because it's the knife that I currently have. Um, just because of how it's a clean looking knife. There's not much going on to it, but when you have that flip animation, when you equipped it and it flips straight into your hand, it is so sexy. Now the inspect animation, of course, it's normal. It's the normal one that you have with the default knife, which I don't particularly mind. Like it doesn't have any special animations to it, but I don't count that as a negative. I think having just the normal default animation makes it clean, and if you don't want a knife that is like super flashy, a lot of bayonets look super good, and they're not like super cheap, not super expensive either. So I'm gonna put it in A tier for that reason. The Bowie knife, the Bowie knife, it's like a shittier version of the bayonet. I like that it has a nice big long handle, but I'm also a glove guy. I like my gloves, and when you are using the Bowie knife, you only can see your hand that you're holding the knife in. But it's definitely a better knife than like you can still get a good looking Bowie knife for a cheap amount of money. So I'm gonna throw it in B tier, right in the middle. Not too good, not too bad. Now we get down to a sexy knife like a butterfly knife, but holy shit, are these things expensive? They have always been expensive, but they have only gotten more and more fucking expensive over the years. That being said, my dream knife is still a butterfly knife slaughter. A BFK slaughter would look so sexy, and you can get them for like 1,200 bucks. But holy shit, these things are expensive. But man, the animation, it's an unhealthy amount of addiction. That is going straight to S tier, no doubt in my mind. Talon knife. The Talon knife. I when I see someone with a Talon knife, I'm like, that is a solid looking knife. Like it's a respectable knife. I really like the serrated edge on the back. However, what I hate about the Talon knife is that it has a white handle for like 80% of the skins, and I think like the slaughter, for example, if you have a Talon knife slaughter, the white and the red look really bad. I wish it had a black handle or like a gray handle or a darker handle. Um, I'm gonna throw it in B tier just because of the price and because of the white handle. I know some people will hate on me for that, but the Falchion knife. The Falchion knife I think is possibly one of the best knives for how cheap it is. Which people say the Falchion knife is shit. I don't think it's shit at all. Um, I really like how it has the colors on both the handle and the blade, and the flip animation when you inspect it is beautiful for showing that both off. And the like, you can get a good Doppler for like 220, maybe 200 bucks if you get a low seller. Like the really good looking skins on a falchion knife look so sexy, and just the chance of you having it balanced in your hand with the one inspect is really good. I don't know if I want to say it's good enough to give it a B, but I think the falchion knife would definitely be a high C tier knife in my eyes. Going down to the flip knife, I used to have so much respect for the flip knife, so much. I thought it was like one of the like I thought it was a low high tier knife, if that makes sense. Until I watched a short about it that says that the blade is longer than the handle, which is in fact true. And that's kind of where the practicality come in. Where if you unflip this knife and retracted it back into the handle, there would still be knife sticking out, which absolutely hates I hate that in my eyes. I've never owned one, and I don't plan on owning a flip knife. I've owned most of these knives, but a flip knife is not one of them. And for that reason, I'm putting it with the C tier. Just it's like it doesn't make sense. I would not want to hold one of those. It just doesn't make sense to use. And I think the flip knives are overrated and expensive as fuck. Like a fade flip knife for like 500 bucks. I don't know if that's the actual price or not, but I think they're way too expensive for what they look. Going with the gut knife, this was the first knife I ever had. I had a gut knife, Force DD Pet, field tested, that looked like shit. But I didn't mind it. And it wasn't like, I don't think the gut knife is the worst knife. Like if you are on a super tight budget and you get a gut knife, I'll be like, oh, that was a much fucking better decision than some of the other knives on this list. So I'm gonna give it C tier just because I'm reserving D tier for fucking shitty knives. And I don't think the gut knife is that bad. Huntsman. The Huntsman used to be my favorite knife. I had a Huntsman Slaughter that I absolutely adored, and I still think Huntsman is just a great looking all around knife. It has the giant blade. It has the serrated edge. It has the square tip. It's a really pretty knife, and for how cheap it is to get some really high tier skins, I think it's a very solid pick. I would put it at the level of Bayonet. I think it's almost. I would put it right before the Bayonet. I would say if we're doing these, like worst is on the left and best is on the right. Yeah, I'd do something like this. I would say it's a low A tier or a high B tier. I'm putting it above the Talon knife, but I do have bias against the Huntsman knife. Um, M9 Bayonet. I have mixed feelings about the M9 Bayonet because it's like it doesn't have anything special about it like the normal Bayonet, and it looks a little bit cooler. I mean, it has the serrated edge. It has the darker handle, which I think is better, but it's also like twice as expensive as normal Bayonet. And to get those extra, like to get the darker handle, to get the little serrated teeth on the edge for almost double the money for some of the skins, I don't know if it is worth it. I still think it's a really clean knife and a really solid choice. Like if I see someone with an M9 fade or an M9 Doppler, I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy. So I'm also gonna put it in A tier, but just the price ratio, I want to say that the Bayonet's a little bit better. And I know some people would disagree on that, but I don't know. I just have to put that there. The Karambit is another OG knife where if I see someone with like a fade or a Doppler or anything like that, I'm just like, holy shit, these guys know their knives. Like it's a clean looking knife. It was debatably the best knife in the early stage of the game. Like you saw someone with a Karambit 5 years ago. 5 years ago, you're like, holy shit, that's a solid looking knife. Now you see someone with her Karambit, you're like, holy shit, that's a good looking knife. Um, the price is of course still a little expensive, but holy shit, I'm putting it up in S tier just because of how sexy it is. Navajo knife. I actually won a Navajo knife when I gambled on farm skins. Uh, I had a Safari mesh field tested Navajo knife, and that was the first Navajo knife that I ever owned. And the first thing that I did was sell it. Uh, I think the Navajo knife is absolutely foul, absolutely disgusting, and anyone who says otherwise is lying. So for that reason, I am going to put it. For that reason, I'm going to put it in the shite. It is the fucking ugliest thing you could ever own. I don't even care. You could say that this knife is like 30 bucks. I'd be like, I'm not gonna buy that. Nomad knife. I think the Nomad knife is so fucking overrated. I think it is the most overrated piece of shit knife in the game. I could go out to Walmart, and I've said this since it came out. I could go out to Walmart and buy a knife that looks exactly like the Nomad knife. Like it is so uncool for a game that's supposed to have like cool looking knives. Like all of these other knives are like unique. They're cool. I could go out and to literally any store that sells knives and buy one of these for 20 bucks. Uh, and for some reason, people love them. People think the Nomad knife is so cool, and it's so overpriced. I think a Nomad knife should be worth it's like a Falchion or a Huntsman. Like I don't think there's anything too special about it. And there's the stupid fucking animation where he cuts his hand on it. I think that is the dumbest thing ever. I'm putting it in D tier. Paracord knife, I think it's a clean looking knife. I like how it has the rope handle. I like how it has a long blade, but it is way too skinny. just to look good. Like I feel when I see the player model holding it in his hand, I feel like he's like not getting a good grip on it or something. Like holding that skinny of a knife just doesn't sit right with me. I'm going to also throw that in C tier. Shadow daggers. I actually really enjoyed the shadow daggers. I've owned multiple shadow daggers throughout the amount of knives that I've had. But everyone else hates them, and it makes me hate them. I don't think they're the worst. I don't think they're awful. I think get a lot of decent looking shadow daggers for a decent amount of money, but there's also like nothing special about them. Like yeah, they do look like butt plugs. I'm gonna throw them with a C tier. Skeleton knife. I used to really love the skeleton knife. Like when it first came out, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I bought a cheap skeleton knife. I had a Force DD Pack skeleton knife, and it got old quick. Like there's no. I mean, it does spin. It does spin. I'll give you that. It spins. There's the cool pull out animation, but like I don't know. I like thought I would have more fun with it. Like when you're flipping around a butterfly knife, like it's fun. When you're flipping around a skeleton knife, it's like most of the time it's the default animation. Sometimes it spins, and like it eventually gets old. It's like a fidget spinner. You eventually spin it, and it's like it's not the same. And they're fucking mad expensive. They're insanely expensive. I'm gonna throw it in B tier. I think that is appropriate to where it belongs. Stiletto knife. I have not owned a stiletto knife. I think they're a clean looking knife. I think they are properly priced. Um, I don't necessarily love the color of the handle, the brown that goes with a lot of the skins, like a brown handle on. I don't even know what skins have it and don't, but I think it's appropriate. I think it could go high C tier or low B tier. Um, I think it's like probably one of the most mid tier knives that you could have. Definitely a respectable knife, but not for me to be honest. I'm gonna put it low B tier. I think it makes the cut. I think it makes the cut. I think it's definitely better than all the knives in C tier, but I don't think it's quite as good as anything else above it. Why did I put Bowie knife? Does Bowie knife really belong in B tier? I guess so. I guess it's better than those pieces of shit. All right, survival knife. Survival knife, I've always enjoyed. I still enjoy the survival knife. Then again, there's also nothing too special about it. I mean, you can flip it on the pull-out animation, and there's the one strange inspect animation where he kind of strokes the back of it like it's a I don't know a dog. Do you stroke dogs? Doesn't matter. Where you stroke it. But I think it's like the worst version of the Huntsman. Like it has a decently big handle, and there's a lot going on with it. It's a cool looking knife, which I enjoy. Um, and the price, I think you can get a lot of clean looking survival knife skins for a decent amount of money. I'm gonna put it at the bottom of B tier. I think it's about the same as the stiletto, maybe a little bit worse. It might be high C tier. No, I'm gonna leave it there. I don't care. All right, classic knife. I think I've seen a total of like 2 people in CS:GO ever own a classic knife, and I think there's a reason for that. It's because it doesn't look good. I don't think it doesn't fit the vibe of CS:GO. It belongs in CS Source or wherever the hell other game use this knife, and it just doesn't look good. I'm gonna put it with the Nomad knife in D tier. Finally, is the Ursus knife. I owned one Ursus knife a while back, and not for that long. Um, I think it's a decent knife. You can get some cheaper skins, definitely on the cheaper side for like 110, 120 bucks. You get a shitty Ursus knife. And then some like a fade, it's not even, it's like less than 500 or something. Like you can get some good looking skins for a good amount of price. That being again, it is one of the most plain knives out there. It's literally like a box. It's like a prison shank. It's just the handle and it's like a box cutter. To be honest with you, and I think if that's something that you want to go with, if you want to have that simple, not much to a knife, then it's probably the one for you. But it wasn't the one for me, and it does have the cool flip that you can do on inspect. Um, But other than that, it's not too impressive. I kind of want to throw it in B tier. I'm gonna throw it at the top of C tier. I don't think it's quite as good as the Survival or the Stiletto, but it's definitely better than the Gut. And upon inspection, this is my tier list. I definitely think, looking back on it, these two are properly related. I love the knives in A tier. I'd be happy to own any of the knives in B tier, and even like some of the ones in C tier. Like they're cheap, but like a paracord knife I'd take, an Ursus knife I'd take. I still love the Falchion. I'm biased. And then Nomad Classic and fucking uh, Navaja are disgusting. Keep those away from me. Either way, what you guys think of my tier list? Did you enjoy it? I think my tier list is the most accurate tier list out there, but I guess that's up for a judge. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. I will see you all later.